everyone, welcome to Crafting with a Cocktail, where we make crafts and cocktails all in the same segment. My name is Daniela and I'm super excited you're here. We are making two really awesome designer-inspired DIYs today, so stick around if you want to check them out and if you want to find out what today's special cocktail is. Cheers!
Okay, so this is not exactly the look we're going for, but I just wanted to do a price comparison that this Chanel sweatshirt is going for almost $7,000. I saw a range of it from $5,000 to $7,000, so it obviously, depends on where you buy it from. I'm showing you here how I got my images. Now, you cannot sell brands for a profit. This is for my personal use, so it's totally fine, but I just Googled the Chanel logo and some other Chanel things, took screenshots on my laptop. Then those saved to my desktop. Once they were saved to my desktop, I uploaded them onto my Cricut design space. Now, I'm not going to show you that part because if you have a Cricut, you probably know how to do that. If you don't have a Cricut, I don't want to confuse you. But essentially, took screenshots, uploaded them to Cricut design space, and made a stencil or a cutout for these different Chanel logos and Chanel items. So this was actually my first time ever using heat transfer vinyl with my Cricut. I ordered this cool cheetah leopard print. It's like a white and black one off Amazon, I believe. I'll have it linked down below. And so I'm just weeding it out. Now, an important thing to keep in mind is that when you do this, you do need to reverse your image. There is a setting right before you cut on your Cricut that says mirror, so you're going to hit that mirror button. And that the shiny side or pattern side is face down on your Cricut mat. So it's going to be reversed and the shiny side or the pattern side is going to be face down on your mat, so it will be cutting while you're looking at the white side. Here I am just weeding it out, which took a little bit of patience as I didn't want to rip any of these pieces. Something else I learned is that the Cricut cuts through the pattern itself, not through the entire plastic. The plastic is supposed to stay. That was something I was really concerned about. Now, I got this pink oversized sweatshirt at Walmart on clearance for $7, which was perfect because I really wanted a pastel pink sweatshirt, and I had looked some up on Amazon. They were like $20, but this was perfect. I happened to walk by. It was a nice oversized, soft, comfy sweatshirt, and it was on clearance. So I couldn't pass up on it. I'm starting first by, I have a nice folded towel underneath it. I lint roll it, I heat it up and iron it, and then I'm finding my center point just by taking a ruler, kind of measuring it out. This was about 30 inches wide, so my midpoint is at 15 inches. I poke my finger enough to make a divot. Probably hard to see on here, but I did make a little divot with my finger so that I knew it would be centered. And make sure it's kind of near the top of the crew neck. If you put it too low, it does end up looking a little wonky, so you only want it a few inches down. Now I put down some parchment paper that I had on hand, and I'm just ironing it. Thank you to my neighbor who lent me their iron. I asked like a few neighbors. Half of them didn't answer the door. Some of them didn't have one. So I totally did not want to buy a iron just for one project. And the heat press, Cricut heat press, is like $200, okay? I don't have money for that. So iron works just as well. I made sure to evenly press down and really heat this up. This is obviously sped up in the video, but just know that I really took my time trying to heat it all up, and then started lifting up my corners, seeing if it was all sticking or not. And I decided it did need to be heated up a little bit more, and just kept going with this process until I felt like it was fully heated through and ready to peel off. Once it's all done, honestly, I was really impressed. I thought that this was going to be like super boxy and stiff. It's actually really moldable and bendable with the fabric, so I was really excited about that. Like I said, this is my first time using heat transfer vinyl. Now, if you don't have that, this is another option, which is what I did for the sleeves. I found the center of my sleeves since they were folded in half, found the middle piece, and I put down my 2 other stencils. One says Chanel, and one is the perfume bottle of the number 5 Chanel. So I used the sticky tape from the heat transfer vinyl to use as my transfer tape, picked up that piece, put it in the center. I will say, as much as I tried to push this down, it was really hard to get that to stick to the fabric. I will be using some tulip fabric paint in just a minute here, as you just saw, but just know you really gotta press for that baby to stick. Once that baby was down, and like I said, this took quite a bit of patience and pressing down as I went, I'm going in with a foam brush. This is one that's like flat on the bottom or round on the bottom. This will work best for this. You do not want to use a paintbrush. Let me repeat, you do not want to use a paintbrush. You need to be able to dab it on your stencil. If you use a paintbrush, it's way more prone to get under your stencil and create lots of smudgy lines. And when you're using this foam brush, you also want to keep in mind that you just want enough paint on your brush. You don't want an overload, because that will also create lots of overage or spillage or whatever you want to call it, seepage underneath that stencil. I was actually pretty impressed that this turned out almost perfectly, I would say. I did end up having a little bit of oopsies that ran off the edge of my stencil, but I fixed it up later, as you will see in just a minute here. Like I said, I was seriously impressed with how beautifully this turned out. You can see my little oopsie marks. I did try to remove them. We'll get to that in a minute. But anyways, the Chanel one turned out perfectly. Again, just remove that stencil and the A out of Chanel, and it's good to go. Now, since I could not get that out, I did try using alcohol, like rubbing alcohol. I tried using what's it called, a Tide pen. Couldn't do it. So I was like, you know what? If you can't, what is it? How does it go? If you can't, if you can't win, join them. That's not how it goes. If you can't beat them, join them. You're welcome. So I just ended up making these kind of streaky marks on the opposite corners, and I feel like this kind of added to that nice vintage look. So totally optional. If you get yours perfectly, and if you make this, please tag me on Instagram at Danielita_AFFF. But anyways, this is just because it had a boo-boo. This is the nice close-up of how everything turned out. I honestly am obsessed with this. My boyfriend really liked it too. P.S. Big shout out to him for taking the pictures that you're going to see in just a minute here. This honestly looks like you could buy it at a store.
If you're new to my channel and you like what you see, I invite you to like, comment, and subscribe. Now let's jump into seeing what today's special cocktail is.
It's a spicy one today, guys. We are making a mango habanero tequila and Sprite, or sparkling water, whatever you want to use. So this is some tequila that I infused with a fresh habanero pepper and some dried mango. I think fresh mango would have like deteriorated and or gotten moldy. So anyways, that's how I did it. I used half a habanero pepper. This was originally a full bottle. We did some taste testing. But anyways, I recommend doing the full habanero. This was not spicy enough. And I don't mean like, oh my gosh, spicy could be spicier. I mean, it barely had any spice, okay? Put a shot of my mango habanero infused vodka that I left overnight, and you can leave this for up to 3 days soaking. Then I topped it off with my favorite lemon lime sparkling water. You could totally use Sprite or 7-Up or your favorite citrus soda. And then to garnish it, what I'm going to do is take a lime slice and a slice of that dried mango, cut little slits into it, and put it around the rim of my glass for the garnishment. Gosh, I never remember. But anyways, you get the point here. This was really smooth, really delicious. Tequila Sprites are some of my favorite go-to easy drinks, and this was just a fun, spicy twist on that. So let me know if you try out this drink. Now, our second DIY is directly inspired by this Moschino bag that retails for $895. I didn't want to write Moschino because, I don't know, I felt like I was going to get sued. I don't know. So I ordered these really cool gem letters from AliExpress. I'll have them linked down below for you if you're interested. They do sell per letter. So I ordered the letters D-A-N-I. My name is Daniela, so I just put Danny. I knew they were kind of bigger letters and they would look fun. And I've got these really big fat like gold jump rings that I am using some E6000 glue to glue down behind the letter onto some felt. Now, these are iron-on letters, hence the felt. But I wasn't sure if the iron-on would be enough for the ring, so I did use E6000 glue for that permanent hold. Now, obviously, the original letters were gold. I went with these super fun rhinestone multicolored ones because they speak more to my personality. There are a variety of letters you could get out there. I contemplated using wood ones and spray painting them white, but ultimately on my search fell in love with these kind of fun multicolored rhinestone letters. Now, I am putting them in between some parchment paper as well as a towel and using my iron. Now, something I didn't mention is for both of these, I have it on the highest setting. I started with a lower one. It wasn't working. Even though the directions said use the highest one, I was skeptical and scared, okay? So I didn't do that. Now, underneath the towel, it actually didn't heat up enough, so off camera, I did iron just straight onto the parchment paper onto the letters, okay? Now, I'm using some detailed scissors, or mini scissors, whatever you want to call them, to cut out my letters on the felt. Now, I did have to check them a few times, to make sure they were actually sticking to the felt because, like I said, but when I had the towel layer over it, I checked like twice, and it was not sticking, hence why I did that. Also, when you start ironing directly through the parchment paper, those metal rings get hot, so be very careful. But anyways, you're just going to take a small teeny tiny scissors, which I will admit even with the tiny scissors was a bit difficult, but you're just going to cut around as best you can to fit those letters. If you order these happen to order these same letters, the red will show through just a tiny bit in the background. Honestly, it doesn't bother me at all. If you guys are like have you been on my channel, you know I love me some color. So it did not bother me at all, but you could, of course, do a plain black background if you choose to do so and just grab some black felt or black fabric. Now we are getting to the attaching part. This is actually a really quick DIY, honestly. The longest part is the cutting. And I'm using some gold jumper rings that are slightly smaller than the other ones that will just connect our letters to our chain. Now, I got this fanny pack. Actually, it's not a fanny pack. It's a crossbody bag off Amazon, which I will have linked for you below. This cost me only about $18, a little bit less just by some change. But again, huge difference from that $895 or whatever the crazy price was for that Moschino bag. Plus, this is customized. I made this for myself. There's no other one like it in the world that I'm aware of, okay? I don't know if somebody else had the same exact genius idea and did the same exact thing, but hopefully not. Now, the only thing that didn't go quite perfectly with this is that my N, because the jump ring is only on half of it, because, you know, an N has like two sides, you can't put it in the middle, it is a little bit floppy when it's attached to the bag. I'm going to add some glue or something, I don't know, wire, just to fix it up so it's not so floppy and a little bit more stiff, and that way my N isn't always bending. Other than that, This was so simple, so easy, and absolutely adorable, stunning, literally looks designer as it was inspired by. Here is the close-up. I absolutely love how this turned out. I love the red detailing in the back, even though I secretly chose red felt because that's what I had on hand. I think it totally complements this piece, and I can't wait to wear this baby out. Here is my full outfit with my Chanel-inspired sweatshirt and my Moschino-inspired crossbody bag. I hope you guys loved this video, and like and subscribe, comment, do all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.